everyone, and welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. My name is Anya, my pronouns are she, her, and I will be your storyteller today. We are going to be playing Under the Floorboards by Chris Bissett, where we are playing 2-inch tall floorboard folk living in the Biggs world and borrowing from them to survive. This is a fluffy game of exploration and found family. We have throughout the 6 episodes here, 1 physical copy and 5 digital copies of the game to give away, one for each episode, courtesy of Chris himself. Thank you, Chris. So to enter the giveaway for the digital copy today, type exclamation floorboards into the chat. That's floorboards with an S on the end. So let's go around the table here and have everyone introduce yourselves. So tell us your name, pronouns, your character's name, pronouns, and class. And let's start with, let me see who is Natalie. Let's start with you.
All right, we'll start with me. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie. I use she, they pronouns. And today I am playing Pen Tuffet, who uses they, them pronouns, and they are the group scout.
Me. And then over to Tina.
Hi everyone, I'm Tina. I use she, her pronouns as well, and I'm playing Dusty today, who is our group's trapsmith, and she uses she or they pronouns.
Okay, and then Caden. Oh, I suddenly can't hear anything. Or, oh no. Let's go over to Lola while you're figuring this out.
Hi, I'm Lola. My pronouns are they, them. And I'll be playing Spinnaker, whose pronouns are also they, them, and they're the group's builder.
Okay. Let's see. What happened to your audio, Caden? Oh no.
I could try this. Does that work?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, that worked.
Somehow it lost my mic, so. Oh, hi. Hi again. I'm Caden, they, them. I'm playing Brandy, she, her, and I am the transporter. Muscles.
Incredible. So, yes, don't forget about that giveaway. And I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started. So, the scene opens on a lush country lane, the road worn down with time. A car putters along, the brakes screeching as they take the turn ever so slightly too fast. The engine kicks back as they pass by the gated entry to an old stately home, the green paint on the metal gate peeling with weather and time. The cottage is a stone structure with stucco crumbling and peeling away to reveal the varied smooth stones that make up its walls. Vines span the entire left half of the building, reaching all the way up to a window on the upper floor. We pan down along the many vines, zooming in close to slip from leaf to leaf, rushing downward like water dripping down to splatter on the damp earth below. And we find ourselves at the very base of the old cottage, standing firmly planted between ferns and hydrangeas, towering high above us in the sprawling garden as we go down, down, down to our family of floorboard folk, the Tuffets, who have journeyed long and far from their former home to make a new life for themselves. As you step between the blades of grass here, could you each describe yourselves for us and what you are doing very nearly at the end of your long, hard journey to your new home? And I believe that we should start with Pen as our scout.
You see Pan up front, their hazel green eyes just looking out, hand up against their forehead, underneath basically their bangs of hair cascading over us. It's just this curly mop that they've barely contained in this sort of twist tie contraption they picked up off the floor of the Biggs to use it to tie up their hair. Otherwise, it'd just be puff all over the place. Ruddy red shirt on. Dark pants are very kind of skin tight to so they don't get snagged or anything if they have to do any more climbing work or anything like that to find better vantage points. And on their back, they have a small acorn that was refashioned into a backpack, as it provides a solid containment for any items we find, as well as a good thing to hide behind and look like an acorn when you gotta hide.
Perfect. So you are brushing across this very tall, just sprig of grass, like peeking around up at the base of this house here. Who is behind Pen here? What do you think?
Yeah, I could be.
Okay.
Maybe. Or Spinnaker.
No, Spinnaker would be bringing up the rear slowly.
Okay.
All right.
So, Brandy, describe yourself for us.
Brandy Buttermilk Bucket. Uh, an older person,
Mhm.
not too old, but you know, getting there. Um, just wearing, for whatever reason, a long skirt that she can tuck up to make like loose pants if she needs to. Um, a shirt made out of scraps of stuff, uh, and has a backpack made of other scraps and stuff. And every now and then, if she sees something that catches her eye, she'll just shove it in there.
Perfect. And then, Dusty, would you say that you are with Eek?
I would say so.
Okay,
I
so
would
please
definitely
describe
say
yourself and Eek for us.
Okay, so Dusty, I mean, the Tuffets aren't known for being tall, let's just say, but Dusty is small, looks quite youngish, and she very much resembles her great friend Eek in that she has quite mousy colours about her, except for her adornments. So she has this mad mop of mousy coloured brown curls that she puts into big braids, and she wears beige, very loose fitting dungaree shorts. And she has brown freckles as well, but she's also just smudged with dirt. She is always getting into trouble and always has dirty knees. She always is tripping over her own 2 feet as well. She's just one of those kind of people. Um, on top of her rather plain mousy colours, though, she likes to use anything that she finds from the biggies to make accessories. So she has many different pairs of glasses, all for different jobs that like hook into your hair, hang out of pockets in the dungarees. She always has at least one pair. Sometimes she stacks 2 or 3 on her nose. She also has lots of different sort of creative jewelry out of pieces of like what biggies would know as sweet wrappers and things like that, anything colorful. And she wears a backpack that is almost as big as she is. Peek behind her is a very, very typical looking dormouse type mouse and has that wonderful brown, sort of a goody coloured fur, and just has a nice mischievous glint in their eyes, very much matching Dusty. And you can tell that these two probably get into a lot of trouble together.
Absolutely. And then finally, bringing up the rear is Spinnaker.
Yeah. So Spinnaker is kind of dark in complexion with this like very cropped, short little afro, because their hair tends to that's the way their hair tends to go on an ongoing basis, and there are like little things also stuck in them, just stuck in it, just to kind of keep it out of the way, and it's slightly twisted up in one section with like the nub of a pencil and so on, and they're wearing an incredibly rumpled shirt, and it doesn't matter that it was perfectly like straight and fine when they put it on this morning, or before this move occurred, it instantly started looking rumpled, and it was just shoved into these like really baggy trousers that are like kind of slightly crumpled and held together with an elastic band that they're tucked into. And on their feet, they have these kind of woven plastic shoes that they're very proud of. And in their hand, like if they're bringing up the rear, they've got like it's really nicely carved, and they're very proud of it as well because it's their little cane. It used to be a child's fork. It's no longer that. But yeah, so it's nicely carved, and the shavings have gone into various other things. And I think, like at the start of the move, they kind of had a bit of a conversation with everybody, and were like, "Oh, well, I don't want to leave this behind, or this behind, or this behind, or that. We're gonna need this." And has tried to like load Eek up with like a bunch of little things, and so everyone was like, "You can't take." It's like, I know, but where will I get this if I can't?
Yeah, and Eek is definitely loaded up a little bit too much with stuff. And part of the reason why it took so long in this grand venture that took many nights to go the next house over is because he was just a little bit overloaded. But as you all are looking up at the base of this cottage, I would like for Penn to roll a survey check for me. If I got the word right. Not survey. What are you doing? Perception. Perceptive. I can do things.
All right. So 2d6. All right.
This is why I have it all printed out and I'm like, what is this thing?
So it's 2d6 plus ability. So I rolled a 3 and a 4, and I have a +6 in perceptive. So it's 7 plus 6
Okay.
is 15.
Very good. Amazing. So this is for people who have never played Under the Floorboards before. It's very much akin to things like Powered by the Apocalypse. There's a result of 12 plus that is what you intended to do, an incredible success. 10 plus is just what you intended to do. 7 to 9 is with a complication, you succeed, and then 6 or lower, you are unsuccessful. So on a 13, you are incredibly successful as you're looking around and being the perceptive floorboard folk that you are. You notice down below near the very base, and this is the very base equivalent to you of this house, there is a teeny tiny nail carefully hammered into the stucco at the base of that house here. Its broad nail head is easily large enough to wrap your arms around, given your size. But from this rusty old nail hangs a little bit of blue thread. The color is faded and knotted once, which is a little bit of a challenge. But you know this to mean that there are floorboard folk who live in this house and that it is safe to live here. And right next to that nail, you see just a little gap in the stones that appears to be an entryway to safety in your new lives.
Look, everyone. There's a sign over there. I think
Yes.
it's safe.
Oh, so we can finally stop. Thank gosh.
We gotta get inside first.
And it depends how far inside we gotta go, too.
Uh-huh.
Just a little bit longer, Spinnaker. You're the one that wanted to bring all the stuff.
Well, it's not because I wanted to bring. It's because we needed to. Needed to.
Yes, you made a good
Okay.
argument for the necessities.
Yes, and it's not like it's solely my stuff. Like, I make
No.
stuff for all of us. So
This is true. Well, let's get everyone in before anything shows up.
And easily enough, you make your way. It's a little bit challenging to step through the garden here, as the earth around the hydrangeas is very well churned. So it takes a little bit of effort to get through. But you do eventually make your way to this gap in the stones. And peeking through, you see that there is a gap all the way in to what looks to be an in-between space, maybe the basement. You're not quite sure yet, but you can get into the house this way. And there's enough space for Eek to make his way into. So it might be a little bit of a squeeze with the stuff on his back.
Give him a push to help him.
Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
wait, why don't you check how far down it is, and then I can try and rig something so that we can get it all lowered down really easily.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Okay.
So I'll venture forth just to make sure it's all safe.
Okay. So, Pen, you step through and look out, scanning around, and you find yourself in what looks to be a crawl space. Describe to me what you see here. Give us a little bit of extra detail in this crawl space here underneath this stone cottage.
Yeah, so this crawl space to us, once we pass through the threshold, is fairly spacious. It is dusty and dirty, being just a space that the bigs can never see. So it has a bit of that like earthen must in the air. Once in a while, you can hear like this very subtle creak of the floorboards above. And there is like some weathered paths that, as we go into, from maybe it's other folk, maybe it's other creatures that have passed through, but there is at least a bit of settled ground in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And so you can see very clearly that there are pathways made by the scurrying of mice and other small critters. Very clearly, the bigs have not been down here, particularly in a very long time. You do notice that there is a section, like there's enough crawl space here for a big if they needed to get through. But then there is a drop off down to the left that seems to go down into what could be like a cold cellar or something like that. You know that some bigs, they like their nice cold cellars for storing like cheeses and drinks and things that are much too big for you to borrow by any means, but the cheeses maybe sometimes. So you see that drop off, and there's no one else in sight here. But, there's a nice little dip down that you could easily be able to get through.
Right. Come back to everyone. I do see a path that we can get down and into. It looks like it's safe. It looks like it's been used a lot. So we may have a good amount of friends here.
As long as there's enough space for us all. But I guess that's for us to investigate.
Mm-hmm. Now, to get your things in here, as I said, it's going to be a tight squeeze for Eek. You might need to offload some of the things and just ferry it down. Or you could have him wait a little bit, kind of scout out the space. Really, it's up to you, though. What would you all like to do?
I could carry some of the things.
I'd be happy to carry some more.
If you hear noises, it's my pug sneezing at me.
Well, I guess I could put some more stuff in my backpack, but it's already it's already bulging.
Mhm. Yeah, you see some of those big, thick stitches are starting to strain a little bit. So maybe trying to fit something more in might not be the best idea.
Yeah. So I'll take some of the things and shove them in my backpack and tie them
Mhm.
on the back of the backpack if they need. And
You know what? Just for fun, let's have you roll something. I'm gonna have you roll sturdy
all right.
as our builder,
All right.
as
I
our
rolled
strong person.
three, 2 3s, and I was sturdy of 6, so that's a 12.
A 12. Amazing. So you handily describe for us a little bit about what item are you stuffing in the last thing from our builder friend here?
A bag of sawdust. Because sawdust comes in handy. You can stuff pillows, you can throw it around. I don't know what you do with sawdust. My gosh. But yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
if some of it accidentally falls out, it's not my fault. I mean, it's sawdust.
There's a loud sigh.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure you'll make more.
That's also true.
okay. So you manage to rearrange a few things, get some things off of Eek, and he kind of scrambles a little bit trying to get in here. His ears are just going a little bit, and he looks back at you, Dusty.
Go on, go on. You can fit.
He kind of wriggles a little bit more, and then eventually it's like a little pop. Gets down in there, and I feel like I'm not going to roll anything because I don't need to. But Dusty, can you roll agile for him?
Sure.
You're helping him, so we're gonna say that you're the one rolling this.
That is an 8 in total.
An 8 total. Okay, so you do what you intended to, but with a complication or cost. So as you are like encouraging him and getting him to go through, describe for me what happens as he like pops out and accidentally does a little flip.
So I was already saying earlier that Dusty isn't great at standing on her own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So she like pushes on per Eek from behind just to give that like last little bit of effort, going, "Go on, you can fit, go." And just as she does that, boom, she tumbles in right on top of him. Flat on her backpack, right on top of per Eek.
Oh no. Eek lets out a little woof sound. I'm imagining that is very loud to you.
She's like, "Oh, sorry."
And he does that flailing wriggle thing that, small animals do when they're trying to get back onto their stomachs. But he eventually rights himself and kind of shakes a little bit.
Dusty Eek, are you okay?
We're fine. I told him he could fit.
So, you are now in this crawl space. You see that drop off down into the cellar, and you see several paths here, and you hear a dog barking. Hi, Rocket. These people will probably own a pug just because.
Yeah.
But you see several paths leading off to various areas that you know to be further crawl spaces and areas that are not accessible to the bigs unless they're doing some serious construction, which was potentially the reason why you had to move in the first place. As you heard loud banging and strange noises, and dust was coming down from your ceiling. And you, as floorboard folk, know that this is a sign of bad things coming. So, you have several routes to take. It's up to you who wants to lead, who wants to go where.
I think Penn should lead because they're the scout. You can scout around.
Yeah. Would we like to go down to see about the cellar, or would we like to try maybe somewhere higher? Do we want to be higher this time?
Mm,
Well, I would, so it's a shorter distance to call things. I mean,
what, to go down
Well-
to the cellar?
yeah, it's long. You remember that time when I got that apple and I had to roll it, and then it was nothing but apple mush when I got it back to you guys?
Well, it was still cooked. It was still able to cook it, and actually that made it a lot easier. It was quite big to cut up. So
It was
But-
good though.
the thing is, the cellar, that's like the bits are gonna be in and out of that pretty often. So we want to get somewhere that's out of the way. Are there any traces of other floorboard folk in these paths that maybe have gone this way?
Roll a perceptive check for me.
Okay. That is a 7 plus 3, so 10.
A 10. So you glancing around here, you see the very clear paw prints of various critters, but knowing about that marker on this house, you are glancing around and you see that several of these paths are definitely tread by other floorboard folk. And you see two in particular going in opposite directions, but one of them is more traveled than the other.
Well, it's clear that we're going to have quite a few neighbours, so it's best not to muscle in on their territory. Perhaps we pick one of the spots that hasn't already been travelled.
All right. I'll start looking around, seeing what path we could possibly take that isn't too well traveled, and that we might be able to find a way to make a home.
Okay. So this, I'm not going to make you roll. You find one path that is a little bit less traveled. It's clear that people do go that way occasionally, but not terribly often, because you would know as floorboard folk that if there's a spot that floorboard folk avoid, that's probably a bad sign. And so you don't want to go somewhere that is devoid of you or creatures. Or too many of them, that kind of thing. But you find a pathway leading to another small space, and you see that the walls here are sturdy. 2x4s, which for you are massive, and you just look all around you and you see them reaching up very tall, and it's dusty here, but relatively, for the grand scheme of things, clean. And you walk along a distance, and Brandy, describe to me what you see as you come up against a wall. What do you see in this space here that's a little bit different?
Oh gosh. It it looks like ordinary boards, but
Mm-hmm.
it just feels different mostly. It
Okay.
it feels more sturdy than other places for whatever reason. That like they reinforce the flooring above, or
Mm-hmm.
probably a waterbed.
Hey, you bring it into existence
There you are.
if that's gonna be the case. You never know. But so you see these very sturdy areas, and you recognize this, especially you and Spinnaker, because you are the transport and Spinnaker is the builder. You recognize this to be most likely kind of a load bearing area. Of course, it's the base of the building, and I don't know building things. I watched HDTV, but that's it. But in any case, don't come at me. But you see that this is a very sturdy section. And a sturdy section means an area that maybe they can't get into as easily.
Mm. Yeah, this looks to be a pretty good place. I mean, the fact that this is very structural means that even if they decide to do any work, they are not going to come after this because that's got to stay there. So yeah, and this space has potential. I can see building a couple of levels even. We've got a little bit more
Ooh.
space than we had before. More
Ooh.
space here.
Can we have one of those staircases that like go around and around?
That takes time and
Yeah.
materials. So like it's gonna take some time. Like you wouldn't let me bring everything. So you've got to gonna have to do some looking around and see what you can borrow. But first, we want to put up something that is together and we can at least spend tonight in.
Right. Well, let's
Okay.
pick a
So
spot,
it's good.
unload, and then
Yeah.
maybe a couple of us or more of us can work together and see what's above us.
Yeah.
Okay, so to start, now I did not ask this at the very beginning because I felt that we needed to establish a little bit first, but we have these things, I believe that they call them establishing questions, if I remember correctly. But at the beginning of every session, essentially, we will be asking something that solidifies a little bit more about the world here. So, my question to each of you is, what is the most important thing to your character that they brought with them on this move? So as you are unloading, helping get everything off of Eek and kind of like setting up this space to be just the start of your new home, what is the most important thing to your character that you brought with you?
I think for Spinnaker, it's their kind of makeshift. I mean, the Bigs would call it a Swiss Army knife. It's really not that. Not at all. It's basically like a covered blade and like a spanner and a and screwdriver and like all of these very tiny tools that have been repurposed from other things. Like
Mhm.
one of them is the cut off end of one of the tiniest tools. One of them is like the end of like an Allen key that has been smoothed out and various things. And then there's a little blade that's been kind of broken in half and then covered, but
Mhm.
all kind of put into like, this little package that protects it. So it's more of that woven plastic, but
Mhm.
it's akin to their tool belt type thing, but it's all together so that that is their most important thing because without it, how on earth are they going to make anything or build anything?
Yes, and it took you quite a lot of time to compile all of those items. like more so than anything else. So of course you would want to take it with you.
Yeah.
For
How?
Dusty, she likes to start and usually never complete projects, but she has one project that has grown with her since she was so small, and it is like a patchwork quilt made out of lots of findings from every adventure that she's had around the biggies. So there's some of it's made out of fabric, some of it's made out of things like, um junk food wrappers and things like that. It's all about how it looks more so than how it feels, because she's like put like a felt back on it anyway to make it sort of cozy. And this is her valued treasure. Will not go to sleep without this wonderful quilted blanket that she's still adding pieces to.
Mm-hmm. I love that because you can take all of these memories, especially as a floorboard folk, where it's such a big deal to get these items, that every single piece, every single patchwork element has a story to it. What is, I love this idea, and so I'm going to ask one more question. What is her favorite piece of this patchwork quilt?
Well, she loves color, and she found this one piece of fabric that was like fluffy and had at least 7 different colors in it. And she's seen a picture before of a rainbow, but doesn't quite know what that is. But it reminds her very much of that. And that is like right in the center of her lovely patchwork quilt. And that one was very, very hard found because she had to go into the small biggies room to find that one.
Mm.
And small biggies are rambunctious,
Yep.
and they're also lower to the floor, so they see more. So that was
Mm-hmm.
very risky indeed.
And they also don't have the same like known schedule that most biggies that you have encountered have,
Mm-hmm.
which
Very
adds a little
unpredictable.
element of nerves. Perfect. How about Brandy?
Brandy has a little toy box,
Oh, cute.
probably some biggie child's toy of some sort. And she has put inside some of the treasures that she found, like an artificial leaf and a puzzle piece. This makes grand
Mm.
artwork.
It's
And
very abstract.
the most important, a pin.
Mm. It's a very good sword.
It's almost as big as me, but there it is.
Yep. It's like a two-hander sword.
Yeah.
Although a little bit lighter, size-wise.
And it has the little knob end so that
Yeah.
can't drop it as easily.
Yep. You also have something to grip onto with it.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Pen, how about you?
Yeah, so Pen in their bag has this collection of various threads, like whatever we picked up along the way, or if we were able to borrow off of spools of it. Because a lot of times we need to tie things up, or Pen has to go essentially spelunking down like bookcases or whatever high places to get to other areas where we can find materials to borrow. So they just have this collection of thread always in their backpack for whenever we need to climb down, or if Spinnaker needs thread, I'm the one that sort of carries it all.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So you are here in this space setting up what is the beginnings of your new home here under the floorboards. It is drawing late in the day, and you hear the rumbling of the bigs up above. You don't know their schedule yet. You've never met or seen them before. Met in the loosest term, of course, because for a big to see you is not a good thing. And so you hear the rumbling and the loud booming voices that are too big for you to understand. And the sound so slowly settles, they drift off. You get the sense that you're not under the communal main living space. You're not quite sure yet where you are, but it seems to be that this is a less lived in area, whatever is up above you. So the sun sets low and it gets dark out. And Eek is there just kind of like curled up, probably I would say on Dusty's blanket that she's been working on. He just loves to curl up on it. He's found a little bit of something, you don't know where, to munch on. Probably from that cellar, honestly. If it's anything like the cellars that you know of before, he's probably found some cheese down there and is just nibbling on it. So. What would you like to do as you're setting things up?
Yeah, I'd be trawling everything out of my backpack and trying to deflate it so that our first adventure to try to get our bearings, the backpack's at least empty enough to pick up anything that could be useful. So they're like trying to like hang pieces and like drape bits of like tinsel and all sorts of pretty things that she's found over time here, there, wherever, everywhere, making like a little dusty corner.
Okay.
Yeah. And Brandy will empty out the backpack, just shake it, most of it on the floor, and offer it to Spinnaker to take what they need and want, and hanging up the puzzle piece on a little splinter of wood.
I think Spinnaker's sitting down. So anything you hand them, they'll be like, we'll just point to somewhere.
And Pen is just sort of like walking around the perimeter, seeing if there's like any other entries or exits or whatever, because they're very aware of like wanting to make sure everyone's safe. So they're making sure we know where all the ins and outs are.
Okay. So, in that, as you are scanning around, we're going to move into part of what would be considered the expedition. So they have this kind of establishing thing, mainly used for one-shots, but we have basically several phases. There is phase 1, which is scouting. And then phase 2 is the expedition itself. And then phase 3 is the return. Now, we won't follow this structure for every single session because that can get very repetitive. So I would like for our wonderful scout to scout. So I'm just trying to check because this is very tiny writing for me to read. So I just wanted to check one thing. Where are you? Vamp. I'm going to say, oh, interesting. That's testing your memory. Fascinating. I am just going to have you start off by, I know that this is the same thing, but I need you to roll perceptive for me as you are kind of checking out the perimeter, sorting things out.
I rolled max because I rolled 2 6s and I have a +6.
Oh my goodness.
I am so ready to go. I'm so excited. The impulse to just run off is there. But also the energy of this is a new place we don't know, so I gotta learn everything right now.
Amazing. So to start off with, we gotta hydrate. So take a sip of your beverage. Thank you for the hydrate. And then also, describe for me, you have scouted out the spaces and you've noticed, I will tell you, where you've seen other steps. You haven't seen anyone yet, but you have gone over and like kind of scouted out a little bit the areas that you've seen other footprints from floorboard folk, and you've noticed the tied off little knots. And this is things that if a big were to see it, they'd be like, oh well, this is just a nail from the builders that they had tied something off and it tore. So you see like the little markings and things, and you see that there are very colored things that just are basically denoting, hey, don't go here, this is safe. Just like the easiest way for floorboard folk to communicate without actually being there. And so you note these things, and then you, being curious, venture upward. You find a series of nails that are just slightly pulled out that are easy enough for you to scale. And what do you find when you scurry up directly above your new home? What space are you in?
What could be so interesting? Okay. So I scurry up and I catch just a little whiff of like a little whiff of what the bigs would call coffee, like just a very subtle whiff
Ah,
of it. And as I
mhm.
find my way towards a crack that's just big enough for one of us to fit through, I peek and I see this sort of side table with a coffee cup. It doesn't look like it's warm anymore. I don't see any steam coming off of it, so maybe a big just forgot about it. I see a
Mhm.
plush sort of sitting chair, like almost a velvet green, um,
Ooh.
sort of a Victorian style almost. And as I
Mhm.
peer into the space, it almost seems like it's maybe a mix of like a study of some kind. Um,
Okay.
but there's a mixture of various like knickknacks and collectibles. So there's different styles with like those little decorative plates on the wall. Um, some like little pictures and paintings, and then a old like wooden sort of writing style desk off on the corner, with bunches of paper and other utensils and stuff that I assume Biggs must use for something, but maybe we can use borrow it for something better. Um, so yeah, I think I essentially find this sort of study area.
Okay. Just making a note for myself. So I'm just going to draw out this house here. Okay, so I have a rough idea of where you're located. Perfect. So you kind of peek up and find yourself underneath this side. Did you say a sideboard?
Yeah, just so I went up essentially if we were like looking at a wall, I went up about a third up, so I'm able to see some
Hmm.
things. And there was just a little slit, maybe it's just the boards of the wall split a little too much and the wallpaper
Mm,
teared there, but I was able to peek through.
I love that. And so you're peeking out, and it's this loud, cavernous space. You know that sound of nothing? It's just this wide open space. And you peek through and you're listening, and you hear the steady beat of something. Would you say that in your past big house there was a grandfather clock?
Hmm.
Or would you know what the sound was?
I feel like Penn may not know the sound.
Okay. So you just hear this steady thunk, 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 thunk. And you're not quite sure where it's coming from or what it is. It's not coming exactly from this room. It's nearby, but it's just the steady thunking beat that's continuous. And it's impressive that you couldn't hear it down below. But those, like Brandy and Spinnaker had said, those floors, that area must be very solidly built for you to not hear that sound from below. You peek around, and that teacup, that coffee cup that you see it looks to be bone cold. And it's one of those that it's large enough that it would be like a bath for you, essentially. It's how large it is. And it has like little intricate designs of like little blue flowers and leaves on it. And scanning around, there's no lights on in here. And you heard the sound of them leaving, and listening with that max roll that you could get, you hear faint murmuring far in the distance. You should be able to find a way into this room.
Okay. I'm so excited, but I really gotta not go off without telling anybody. So I'll start making my way back.
Okay, so Penn finds their way back down to everyone after the successful scout. Now, what has everyone been doing while they were up above?
I think Spinnaker has probably been directing both Brandy and Dusty to help put up kind of a basic cover for the moment. So, because right now they don't have all of the big materials for building, so it's kind of just this very large piece of, well, I say large piece of fabric, but large for us, and it's like broken bits of pin ends that get hammered with basically like this little round rock get hammered into the wall, into those board, like upright boards and things, so that you've got a nice cover. It's not necessary to keep it all dry, but it's just to kind of keep things separate and section off where is yours, and then like there are little things, there are little like dividers hung inside it, so it's like a makeshift kind of big tent with rooms, and so that it's like there's a space. And Spinnaker does this so that they can have their workshop straight away. But of course, because everyone needs their space as well.
Well, just for fun, because I love all of these different things, construct is under reasoned. So I would like for you to roll a reasoned check for me.
Ooh, okay. So a 7 on the dice plus 4.
Okay.
So 11.
11. Not too shabby. So y'all are rolling pretty decently so far. But you know, it is just the start. So Spinnaker, you successfully managed to get all of these little bits and pieces up. You didn't bring a pebble with you, but while you were in the garden, you saw one that was like just the right size to be a hammer for you. It's like nice and big, decently compact. And so you just kind of like, being who you are, like picked it up and brought it in with you. And so you were able to, in short order, because this took Penn quite a while to climb up and explore and look around and wait and listen. And so by the time Penn gets down, you have a decent amount of the space kind of sectioned off here. It's definitely not up to your standards, but it's good for what it is for now. So, and Dusty and Brandy, what were you doing besides trying not to get into Spinnaker's way?
I probably would have done some of the tall pieces by climbing on little Eek's back so that I could reach for the higher pieces of hammering.
I love that picture. Just
Yeah. I would say I probably would have had like a special like saddle thing made just for doing things
Mhm.
like that, just to keep Eek comfy, but to make it functional.
I'm sure that at one point in that big child's room, you saw one of those like collector horse toys with the saddle. So I feel like that would be an easy way for you to get inspiration because that honestly was probably exactly the right size for you.
Yeah, that's what I was
Maybe a little
picturing,
too
like
big.
that Barbie type horse saddle thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely, that works.
Yep, completely. So you were helping to hammer things in really high up. And Brandy, what were you doing?
I was being selfish and just organizing my space and softening up the dirt on the floor for a bed, just so it's all comfy and fluffy.
Yeah, not the cleanest, but it's comfortable, so who
Oh
cares?
gosh, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so all of this is happening just as Penn scurries back down to the rest of you.
Ah, I saw a lot of things up there. How is everything here? It all is looking great.
It's still going. But tell us what you found. Was there anything I
Awesome.
could
Okay.
use?
Yeah. So I went
You
up
found
and
things?
I saw a really beautiful green fabric covered chair. So we're going to have to get you some of that fabric, Dusty. And there was they left some bitter water in their big cup. So I saw a bunch of the bitter water. So we'll have to watch them to see if they do this often because we might have a good supply of bitter water if we want it. Um, and they seem to have a lot of like little knickknacks and things. Well, I guess little to the biggies, but a lot of things all over. So we might be able to find a good amount of stuff to borrow up there. I saw papers and what else did I see? It was a quick look, but oh, I also heard like the steady like tong dong, like it was very steady. It was weird. I thought for a second maybe somebody was building, but it was just happened so often and so steadily. It was a little weird. But lots of potential.
I want to go see.
And I found the thing that was too tiny for me to see. So it's one of those things of when you're looking at something and it's like your mind just doesn't let you read what you're looking for. So now that Penn has scouted things out, I need you to test your memory.
Oh.
So let me see how you test your memory. I found the thing. It just says
Yeah.
you need the scout to test their memory. There we go. Okay, so you need to roll 2d6 plus perceptive.
Okay. Oh gosh, I'm doing good today. 5 and 6 plus 6. So
Oh,
Incredible. So
just so hyped for the space,
Yep.
everybody. I'm so hyped. It's all clear to me.
Amazing.
But to be fair, I
So
was rolling bad yesterday. It's balance.
yep. Then I need everyone to test your luck. So, who has the highest lucky score, and what number is that?
I have 2 as well.
Okay, so 3 is the highest number. For people who have not played this game before, actually, let's really quickly talk about the abilities because they're funny. So you've heard us say some of them. There's sturdy, cunning, agile, resourceful, perceptive, enduring, and reasoned, which spells out Scarper. And then there's lucky, which is the only stat that changes as people use their luck to have a drawer open for them conveniently or any other ideas that they have where they are like, oh, wouldn't it be so nice if this just happened to work for me? As they use their luck, they will lose or gain it, or it stays the same, that kind of thing. All the other stats don't change. But in any case, so we have a score of 3. I need everyone to test their luck. This will not drop your luck score if you fail it, or if you win it. I can words. But I need a collective testing your luck. And just tell me your numbers.
Plus all of you?
So it's going to be, don't worry about the modifier. It's going to be +3. So just tell me what you rolled on the dice.
7.
3.
Oh
4.
no. Oh no.
Rolled a 2.
Oh dear.
Amazing. So, with
We're
testing your
just so
luck,
excited.
And for everyone that is wondering why I've managed to roll 3 7s in a row, it's literally that the number on the dice have changed every time, just different configurations of 7.
very valid. And 7's the most common number rolled. Also, I realized that I did this slightly wrong, but we're going to roll with it, no pun intended. And I know how I'm going to roll with it, so we're going to ignore it. You're only supposed to roll 1 die each, but that's fine. I am just going to half things.
So those numbers aren't that bad.
Yeah. Maybe. Take the 2 highest rolls. Okay. Okay, and we will do it correctly from now on. Anyway, okay, so I will keep that in mind. So we have the results to test your memory, and we have the state of change. Now, one thing that I'm doing differently is that you are not aware of the state of change of things that might have happened since the scouting occurred, because that makes it, I think, a little bit more interesting. So you have major plans. You've settled in a little bit here. So where is it? How long do you want to wait until you head up to explore?
I mean, Dusty isn't that patient once there's like a thing to do, so it probably depends on how like much you can hold Dusty back from just going, okay, let's go.
Very fair.
And Penn, it sounds like, too.
Penn is excited, though they do know new place. We got to make sure we're at least somewhat prepared.
Mhm.
So if we need to hang on a second for anyone to craft something or make something to take along the way.
I think it's. I don't know what else we would need, but I know that Spinnaker has this kind of makeshift harness and the use of the string. So if there's lots of climbing to be done, we'll probably get one of you to take up part of the string and hook it over so they can haul themselves up.
Yeah, sounds perfect. So, and this is one of those things of I really like the idea of you're prepared. You have some things. You might not have everything that you need, but you can have items that you need for the normal activities of a floorboard folk. So, you all head up the same way that Penn went? Okay. So you head on up, and it takes a little bit of effort as you are scurrying up these really large, like they're about this big, the heads on these nails, and you have to be very careful because they are a little bit sharp for you. But you manage to scurry your way up. And do you try to go the same way, or are you trying to like find a place near the floorboards themselves to break in to this study?
Um, Probably floor level would be easiest because we don't want to just pop out of a random spot on the wall. Um, Especially in case a big comes walking in, we want to be able to dart off as needed.
Hmm. Okay. So you manage to, it takes a little bit of time, but you manage to eventually find a spot where there's a gap. Like you had previously found a gap in the wall there, and that was a little bit higher up, but you do manage to find another gap to kind of scurry your way in. And I use scurry a lot, I realize, with this game, but it's such an apt word. I did this when I did a play test of the game too. Let's count how many times Anya says scurry. Anyway, so you find yourselves in kind of another section of the room. You weren't quite able to get above in that viewpoint from before, but you find another section of the room to break your way in, and you realize that you're underneath a bookcase that was kind of off in the direction to the side, but you're looking around, and you all see kind of what Penn saw, the space above you, very, very dramatic, and you hear that thump, thump, thump that Penn heard before there's a very loud clanging sound, because it is a grandfather clock and they go every 15 minutes. If you didn't know that, now you do. And it's just this cacophony noise of bells chiming, and it takes you a moment. It's very disorienting.
Well, that's unpleasant.
Did they drop something?
I certainly didn't like that. Next time I'll prepare something. If that happens again.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to mess with whatever makes that noise because that's not fun.
But if it's supposed to make that noise, then we shouldn't mess with it. Otherwise, the bigs will figure it out. Well, they'll certainly get someone to come fix it. Which, honestly, that is the best way to go about things. You shouldn't be leaving things broken for long swathes of time. It's not very useful. But I don't think that. I think it best not to interfere in that way.
But sometimes
I
if
will-
things break, they stay broke.
Hmm.
That might be a question for some of the other folk that live around here and see
True.
what these people do.
Good idea.
So the sound eventually stops, and you're not talking over it because you're floorboard folk, but you do wait as that kind of echo goes away and have this conversation. And you, looking around, you see that there is a very plush carpet here that is a little bit dusty. And there are just various little bits and crumbs on the floor. You can tell that whoever the bigs are that live here, especially like this worn chair that Penn described, you see it, you see that coffee cup that's still there, and you see, and it's like very high up above you, just towering high above you, that you can see it, but you see that there are crumbs of what looks to be a cake or something that they had eaten very messily, that are just all over the carpet here. Small enough that a big would not notice it or just chose not to care and clean it up. But perfect for floorboard folk to grab up.
Oh, I love cake.
I definitely want to go over and grab some crumbs.
Mm-hmm. And easily enough, you're able to like your bags are emptied now from the trip, and so you're able to like pack some in, just taking care of them and getting them all taken away. You didn't get everything because some just crumble away in your hands, but you're able to get quite a few bits. And is there anything in particular that any of you are looking for, especially for, say, building up your new home?
So I'm not sure that Spinnaker will find it in this
Mhm.
room, but they're very keen to look like for things like sticks and matchsticks and various
Mhm.
little things that can be used as structural building tools that can be trimmed
Mm.
down. And obviously, some sticks can be found outside, but that's a whole nother trip that they're not going to do anytime soon. But
Mhm.
with the noise, they're probably looking for like some wax or some like a candle or something,
Okay.
because and they're like, well, if we can't do anything about that, then we have to protect us.
Mhm. And it is interesting to note that now that you've heard it loudly all around, you did hear it very briefly when you first came into the basement of the house, but it was very, very muffled. And thinking about it now, maybe this is why people hadn't set up shop and living in this space that you found yourselves in.
Mhm,
This is a little bit loud. Might be something that you need to take care of, like Dusty suggested, and Brandy.
mhm.
So, looking around, you see on that writing desk that Pen saw in the far corner, you do see a candlestick that has burnt down about halfway. It's taller than you, but also might be a little bit challenging to get to.
Mm. Oh. So it's we're down on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's up on a desk.
Yes. So it is towering high above you. You do see that the writing desk itself, it's one of those decorative ones that has like the
Mhm.
little notches on it. And so maybe that's something that you can work with.
Yeah. Hmm. I think it'd be a very good idea to get some of that wax, but hmm. Do you think that that's do you think we'll be able to get it? I can see that there are some notches there, but I'm not very good at climbing myself.
Also, not great at it.
I might be able to get my way up there between my thread. And I imagine if we were prepared for our venture, Pen would probably either have a lost like earring hoop or some other like metal thing that they've fashioned into like floorboard people sized hook to try and like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
throw up onto things and catch in a way that they can pull up on the thread. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You have one of the bigs from your previous house had so much jewelry, and she was just constantly losing one of her earrings because you just kept taking them.
they were shiny, you can pierce things. It's great.
Yeah. Exactly. And they're so convenient and small and just perfect for you to be able to shape into like all manner of things, not just like grappling hooks and things like that. You can just create like pulley systems and all weird things using them. They're very sturdy. Some of them more so than others. Some of them just flaked apart in your hands, and you're like, why did you bother?
Silly pigs.
Yep. So you want to kind of like what are they, pythons? Kind of like make
Tons.
your way up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try my best to see if I can get myself up there, and I will sort of leave the end of a thread down, so if I can make my way up, I can tie it off and everyone else can whoever wants to join can come up with me.
Mhm. Okay. Excuse me. So I am going to say, is there a climb one? There is. Enduring is what you're going to want to roll here.
This will be fun. I have a +2 in this. Okay. That is 4 and 3 is 7, +2 is a 9.
A 9. Okay. So minorly successful, but with a complication. Describe to me what this complication is as Penn is trying to make their way up this kind of uh, tiered, kind of ridged leg of this writing desk.
Yeah, so I start going up and I get up pretty high, but as I look up, I very much notice that this leg doesn't meet like the desk flatly. There's like a good ledge that sticks out, one where you'd have to really acrobatics or some weird contraption way to get around and over. So that kind of
Hmm.
leaves Penn sort of stuck there, sort of looking. It's like, okay, I'm maybe up here, but I can't get all the way.
Is there anything that anyone else would like to do to help them?
Oh gosh.
I love throwing the complications to the players because you come up with such fascinating things. So you're
I,
stuck here at the ledge, looking up and being like, oh, this is difficult.
I would say Brandy has like this little chip of wood or some such that if they hold onto it like over their shoulder and Penn climbs up, she'd be able to scamper up.
Kind of springboard me.
Yeah, that would if I jump.
I love that. So, Brandy, because Penn has the string trailing down, I'm not going to make you roll to get up. It was the initial act of getting up that was the challenging part. So you're able to get up there next to them, and looking at them, you have your little springboard situation going on. I'm going to say I need you to roll sturdy, and I need Penn to roll agile.
All right, this is one I'm good at.
7 plus 6.
I also am 7 plus 6.
13.
We're in sync.
Amazing. Describe to us exactly what you do for the springboard situation to launch Penn up onto the top of this desk.
Well, realizing I have to hold on to this, my end of it, I like wrap my arm around the string to make it more sturdy and just press down with all my strength to make sure that Penn don't go falling.
Yep, that would be a nasty fall.
And then leaning back if needed to give her more room and for
Yeah.
them more room. And
Okay. And
Yeah.
Pen?
And Pen, they sort of situate themselves feet square and flat on the springboard, and Brandy would feel like that little wobble as they're testing it to make sure it was good. They've resituated the hook on the end of the string. That way they can sort of leverage it up and catch in case they do fall. But
Mm-hmm.
they bob a little bit before the sudden like drop down, like really pushing down to spring off. And very quickly and agilely, they catch themselves onto the edge just enough to get the hook also up and over for a solid sort of handhold. And are able to pull up.
Mm-hmm. And you heave yourself up onto this writing desk, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking that last little bit because it's like you feel like you're about to slip, but you manage to get yourself the rest of the way over, and you get that hook solidified. So that if the others would like to make their way up to the top of this writing desk, you most certainly can.
Would love to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you want a springboard, Dusty?
Oh yes. Thanks.
And because once was successful, you don't need to roll again. We have established that it works, and it works very well. So, Dusty, you springboard up onto the top of this writing desk that is it is like 5 times the size of your home that you are establishing, the space that you have for your home. It is massive, and it is just slickly, what's the word? Finished. It's a like a deep cherry red beneath your feet. And so as you are all looking around, you see, and Spinnaker, do you head up as well?
I think it's kind of a well. It looks like quite a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just call out and tell me what there is up there.
All right.
You got it.
Okay. So Spinnaker, you're chilling on the floor here, shouting this out. And so the three of you, Dusty, Brandy, and Pen, then, looking around, you see that there are like crumpled pieces of paper. Several pieces have been just like angrily smashed together. Certainly the bigs would not notice if you were to tear off some pieces from this paper. You see that there is an ink pen, like a fountain pen, that the cap has been left off of it, and there's a little ink splatter on the surface of this desk that has gone dry. And the nib itself is dry as well. And you see the candle in its little candle holder just towering high above you. There are like little spills of wax from it melting coming down the sides of this bright white candle. But it is unlit, and you can certainly grab some little bits of wax and things that Spinnaker requested.
Yeah. When you see the wax up there, just like chop off some tiny bits, or if there are any bits that are like already dropped, and then just drop them down. But warn me first, and I'll hide underneath the desk.
All right.
I was just about to say, as a trapsmith, I'm really good at seeing just even natural dangers. You know, if you push that thing just so it could topple.
Mhm.
So I was wondering what I could do just to prevent anything that we are going to tinker with up here from tumbling down and
Okay.
causing a hazard.
Well, you tell me. What would you like to do to prevent that?
I think she's going to sit and think about the position of everything and maybe reason it out.
Okay. Sorry, multitasking. Um, okay. Did you want to roll something?
Yeah, I was thinking I could probably use reasoned for this and like sit and do the math in my head.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll reasoned for me.
Okay. And that is a 13.
A 13. Incredible. So, some of the things that you notice here is that the rug itself doesn't extend as far to all the way to the writing desk. And so no matter where you drop anything, it's going to be hitting hardwood. And it might, depending on what it is, bounce. And so, especially for Spinnaker being down there below, you might not want to actually be underneath the desk itself. You might want to be a little bit further back, or you might risk some wax or other things flying over.
Mm.
I would definitely relay that information down. I would shout over and say, Under's probably not the best place to be. If this falls like that and bounces like that, and then you're so maybe
Okay. Hang on. We'll hobble over with their stick. So they're
I
out
have
of range.
Yep.
I have an idea. If we
Mhm.
scrape up the wax, we're going to need some paper because that's good for multiple things, bedding, writing on, whatever we need. We can wrap the wax in the paper, and then I have all this thread. We can tie it up and kind of splunk it down. That
excellent
way,
idea.
no hard drop.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And two
Okay.
materials at once.
Brandy's just going to drop kick some of those paper balls off the desk.
And there are quite a lot of them here. They're just all manner of crumpled up pieces of paper, just all clustered around. And Brandy, looking at them like you, just curiously, like kind of scrunch a little bit of them out, and you see just really big letters. It's hard to read because this Big's handwriting is terrible. But you see what looks to be a letter or a story. You're not quite sure what it is that they were writing, but they were very clearly angry and upset about whatever it is that they were writing. Maybe it wasn't quite what they wanted, or like phrasing, things like that. You're not sure. But yeah, you can easily, well, let's just roll for it. Because lift, carry, push, pull, throw. Roll story for me.
That would be 9 plus 6.
9 plus 6. Amazing. Y'all are rolling so well. Describe for me, where are you trying to kick these things? Are you just knocking them all off of the desk? What are you doing here?
Yeah, the first couple I just sort of pushed over, but then they were doing other things, so I got bored and just started kicking and started, just seeing how heavy they are, and then maybe trying to throw them, and
Yep.
just having a good time.
Having a good time. You are not paying attention and you throw one of them over in the direction that Spinnaker was told to
no.
chill.
Sorry.
But given your roll, you managed to not hit them because you realized last second and kind of pulled back a little bit.
Watch out!
Just giving you something to play with. Yeah, that's it.
In any case, you manage to carefully scrape away these little bits of wax. There's a bunch that's just like, you know how wax likes to drip not where you want it. There's some that you have to scrape up a little bit using probably the earring that you modified, but you're able to like scrape some of it up from the hardwood table and other bits from the candle itself. Out of curiosity, do you all know the word candle? Because I know that we had this discussion. If not, what do you call it?
Hmm.
I don't know if it like. I don't think I would know the word candle.
Maybe it's just like
light
waxy column.
Drippy tower.
light thingy. Yeah.
The
Waxing.
burning tower.
Burning useful scary tower.
Probably a fire stick or something.
Yeah.
Burning useless scary tower spells bust.
I love that so much. So you gather all the supplies that you want here, and you don't see anything that would be terribly useful up here. And you scale back down.
Wait,
Do
wait,
you?
wait,
Oh,
wait.
wait. Yep.
Check the drawers.
Mm,
Are there drawers?
there are drawers. Yes.
Can you check them? Where are
Okay.
the drawers?
So you go and you pull open one of the drawer handles. It's one of those round knobs. And you know what? Brandy and Pen, go ahead and roll a sturdy check for me to see how, like, if you're able to pull it free. Teamwork.
5 plus 6,
Thanks to
11.
open.
You said sturdy?
Sturdy, yes.
That's 10 total.
Okay. And what was Brandy again?
11.
Easily enough. So you tug and pull on this drawer, and you manage to get it just wedged slightly open enough that you're able to like duck in, and you can actually like fully just plop yourselves in and stand up tall. It's a pretty U-sized drawer, to be honest. It'd be a nice room if you could steal one of these, borrow one of these. But unfortunately, the Bigs would probably notice that, and it would be very heavy.
And it'd be hard to get through the cracks.
Yeah, there are a lot of elements but inspiration. So, what is it that you are looking for, Spinnaker? What did you ask them for?
So I'm still looking for building materials. But
Mm.
if there's anything like, well, if there's anything like coins or like shiny metal things, because we need like a good cooking surface. We need like a bit of a smelting surface. If there's any little me looking in my desk to try.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm like, maybe paper clips.
Yes.
Yeah, paper
Uh,
clips would be
clips.
very useful.
Oh, metal thumbtacks, as I say.
Yeah, there's something a little bit more permanent than what we've got up.
They'd have a blast with my desk, man. So much junk.
Yeah.
Little bell.
So I'm going to say, because you were not fully successful in your state of change roll, your luck roll. Looking around this drawer, given the space, you were like, okay, this person this big is going to be very messy. You look around and you realize that there are pens lined up very neatly and precisely and perfectly in this space, and there is just an inkwell here just sitting sealed shut, and there's no paper clips, there are no like earrings or other things. This is all extremely tidy, especially considering other spaces that you've seen in this study. There is nothing here to borrow, or at least nothing to borrow easily. And just as you are making this realization, you hear a thump, thump, thump from what you know from your experience to be a hallway, another room, but it doesn't matter because the bigs are on the move. And that's where we're going to take a break. So we are going to take a 10-minute break. I'm told to give hydration and meds reminders. Take your meds. Drink your water. Stay hydrated. Hydrate or die straight is my favorite saying in the world. Don't forget to subscribe both to the Twitch channel and to our YouTube channel and all that fun stuff. Also, don't forget we are running a giveaway for a digital copy of Under the Floorboards, !floorboards in the chat to enter to win. And we will be back in about 10 minutes. So we will see you then with the bigs on the move. welcome back to our premiere session of Under the Floorboards, more specifically, The Secret Lives of the Tuffets, as they are exploring their new home, having had to relocate as the previous bigs were getting up to some mischief that was a little bit concerning in their old house. They have started to explore a little bit of this new home and have found themselves in the study. Dusty, Brandy, and Penn are on top of this writing desk at the moment, gathering up some supplies, some papers, and things. Brandy was kicking them off the desk, as you do, nearly hitting Spinnaker on the floor below, just as you begin to hear the very loud sounds of the bigs walking around. What is your immediate reaction? What is the first thing that you do?
Figure out how quickly it's possible to hide, but also look around and go, oh no. Spinnaker is going to, as quickly as possible, move to all the pieces of paper and stuff that they kicked off the desk, and will use the bottom of their cane, the still kind of timed bit, to whack them underneath the desk, so that they can then go and join them, and it doesn't look like anyone's been in.
Perfect. So, not going to make you roll for that. You're able to do it. You very quickly get those pieces of paper. There were only 4 or 5 or so. So you knock those crumpled pieces of paper under the desk and join them. What is everyone else doing? You're up on this desk. Brandy and Penn, you're currently in a desk drawer.
Yeah,
which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, depending.
Yeah, we may not have enough time to get out without being seen. So it's either go to the very back of the drawer and lay flat, or if we look up, is there any gapping or anything? It will depend on the drawer, but is there anything we're able to kind of wedge our way up so when the drawer is fully open, we don't get caught?
Do you want to try your luck?
Sure. Let's do it.
Give it a go.
All right. So for rolling my luck, this will be interesting. So let's see if I can do it. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's a 7 total.
A 7 total. So it's not a full failure. There it is. Well, okay, no, testing your luck is special. On a result of 9 or lower, you don't get lucky, and what you want doesn't happen. Your lucky score does not change, so that stays the same, but you can't test it again in this situation. And once someone has tested their luck on something, no one else can. So unfortunately, this desk drawer is a little bit too flush, and so you would not be able to kind of wiggle your way around that. So your options are, like you suggested, hide, lie flat in the back, or maybe scurry down as well. What would you like to do?
Brandy most likely would scurry to the back and then just pretend that she's a doll.
You're doing a Gigi? I love it. So you go back there. I'm going to say roll cunning as you are trying to deceive. You are in the back of the desk drawer.
Oh, yay. 10 on the dice. That's it.
Okay. Oh no, you have a 0 modifier?
Yep.
Oh goodness. Penn, indecision, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I would just be joining Brandy because I don't want to leave her behind, and I don't know how quick I could possibly get out if the biggie is like right there.
Okay.
So I'll join Brandy in the back.
And I'm gonna say that you don't have to roll because Brandy did the roll. I love this visual so much. It just sounds so ridiculous. And Dusty, you are currently alone on top of this desk.
So Dusty is going to grab one of those balls of paper very quickly, just pull it the middle and dive into it.
Oh, I like it a lot. Go ahead and roll cunning for me as you're trying to conceal yourself.
That is 14.
I had just taken a sip of my water. Oh my goodness, with a 14, describe how skillfully you managed to do this.
This is sort of where Dusty excels. As clumsy and silly as she can be, like, and coming up with very quick contraptions is her jam. So she just, as if she had already sorted this out before the hazard happened, like she already had a contingency plan, just grabs the paper, pulls it right over, and hunkers down just right. And she positions herself with the other paper balls as well, just so that it looks just totally natural.
Mm-hmm. And so you all kind of like very quickly get into place and you lie still and you know that you have to just wait and hope as the biggie comes in. And I would say that Spinnaker, you're probably the only one who can see as you are like just peeking out and looking around and like staying hidden still. But you're kind of in the prime spot to even be able to like take a peek out to see anything. And so you watch as the door to this room creaks open. There's, for future reference for you, there's a gap between the door and the floor. Good thing to keep in mind. But that door creaks open into this room, and you just see the massive feet, socks that, like the big toe has a little bit of a fray, and the toe's poking through a bit, and the big long stalks of the legs, and you look up and up. You can't fully see this person. They're very, very tall, and you don't want to like give away your position, but you see them just stomping through the space. They scan around, they go and they pick up that cold cup of coffee and they stomp back out of the room and onward, shutting the door behind them. And you just pause for a moment here because you never know with biggies, especially with a new space, if it's going to be safe to come out. But apparently, this person didn't even look over to the writing desk, didn't even notice. And so you all just wait a little bit longer. Deep breath. They're gone.
Brandy's running over to the string and going down. Just no hesitation.
Oh, that was a close one.
Pen, Dusty?
Yeah, definitely getting out, going down the string.
So as you all reconvene back down, do you leave a string up? Like there are some things that you'll do where you can like attach it to the back of a space where it won't be terribly noticed, just as a potential for the future.
Yeah, I think Pen will move it towards like the back. If there's enough of a gap back there, they'll just situate it in a way where it wouldn't be noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see that like there's a little bit of a gap. Like you had the ledge that you had to contend with, but conveniently it's narrow, but there's a little bit of a gap that is just the right size for you to stand on behind the drawer where you can just attach a string and get it to go down to not quite to the ground, but you would be able to climb up the leg and then attach and then grab onto it. And so you all reconvene down at the base of this writing desk. Your blood's still pumping a little bit with that fear of almost getting caught by the biggie in your brand new house. And you hear a quiet voice from not too far away. Hello? Who are you? And all of you can turn and see that there is a kind of ruffled looking floorboard folk. He has a very scruffy beard, a kind of like a piecemeal cap that very clearly he's made himself. He has slung over one shoulder what looks to be a rather large bottle cap that he's turned into a bag with some something covering the bottle cap, and he's just like looking around. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Uh,
Hi.
we just came in today, actually. We're the Tuffets.
Hi. I'm Stumble Mantle. Very nice to meet you. You shouldn't be out here right now.
Okay.
Right, yes. We haven't quite got the hang of this place as yet, but no. In fact, perhaps you would treat us as a conversation and maybe some advice on this place. Like once we've got all these out of the way, of course.
Right, quite right. If you come back with me, my husband is making some food right now. You're more than welcome to come join us. Um, right. This is an interesting time to be here. Um, Welcome. It is as safe as any house can be, but let's not talk here. Right.
Okay.
Yes. And he kind of like just scurries along the edge of the floor, not even glancing back to check on you. He just skirts the I was about to say skirts the skirting. He's going along the skirting of the wall and just like looking around. He gathers up some dust bunnies that he just kind of like sticks into a pocket that is bulging with dust bunnies. What he's doing with these, who knows? But you all borrow your own things, whether they're wanted or not by the bigs. And so he just looks back again and goes, "Are you coming?"
Yes,
Let me
I think.
get the paper. Shove
Yeah.
paper in my.
You have to like take pieces and stuff, but you're able to take sections easily enough. And he goes down a path that you had not seen before. It is along. There was a chaise lounge in this space that was around the corner that Penn you weren't able to see from the initial viewpoint, and so he kind of ducks behind that, and there's a rather large, honestly, mouse hole here. And he just says, "It's okay, don't worry. The mice here are friendly. We have a couple of them that kind of do some favors for us sometimes." Right. Yes. So, like I said, I'm Stumble. My my spouse is taking care of some things at the moment, but you are welcome to join us. We are the Mantles. We live over here under, and he kind of gestures vaguely. Um, right. Hi. You said Tuffets.
Yes.
Yeah, we came
Yes.
from another house.
Right. What happened?
Well, there was a lot of banging and a lot of general disruption. Unfortunately, now I am a very good builder, but there are some things that I can't take into account. I.e., if someone decides to break a wall down, then unfortunately my building won't stand up to that. And
Ooh,
yes, well, it seems like they were having a go at the walls and such, and we had to move. It just wasn't very stable.
that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. Um, hmm.
It was a bit terrifying.
Mhm.
It sounds it. That would be horrible. So much dust everywhere.
So
Well,
much dust, and then I woke up one morning and everything began to shake. Literally.
oh, well, we get that a little bit here, but it's more because of the big bangy thing than anything else. And he gestures vaguely in the direction of where you can hear that thunk, thunk, thunk sound.
Right.
And because it goes over 15 minutes, you hear that loud chiming sound once again. I do not like
Oh,
that the Bigs found this thing. It is very annoying and it is giving me a headache.
have you tried this hmm. It kind of sticks together. And if you rub your hands on it, it warms up, and then you can kind of mold it, and then pop it in your ears. It should really help
Oh,
with the
Hospits.
sound.
I have not, but that is useful information. We were thinking about going to a different part of the house just to get away from it to be able to sleep, but that sounds like a good idea. Right. Well, let's go see if Florrie's ready with the food. Um, right. And so he kind of like scurries along here. See, I'm using that word so much. He rushes along in between the walls here, and you see that this is a rather older construction where on the outside it was stone. The walls in here are simple, made of wood, and so there's like the separation between them that you're able to go between, and not insulated at all. You're not gonna have to deal with insulation. But he just looks behind once again. He's like, he feels a little bit more twitchy. And floorboard folk, you do have to be careful, and there are many risks and dangers all around for you. But at the same time, he just feels a little bit more jumpy.
Are you okay, friend? You seem a bit on edge. Is it the
It's been going on for a few suns. It's just I don't know when they got this thing in, but it's been a lot. I would love to get rid of it because it's very stressful.
I can probably have a look once we're settled and try something.
That would be amazing. It's very tall. I haven't been able to try it myself, and Flory, well, he's able to make the home very very lovely, but is not able to go out on expeditions with me, and so I do what I can, but it's a little bit difficult to do things on my own.
Well,
But no matter.
Perhaps the rest of us can help with some mutual understanding here. Like you know more about the house than we do, and well, I shouldn't speak for the rest of us, but perhaps we could do a trade in information and
Absolutely.
help.
We Tuffets are a creative bunch.
That sounds fantastic. There are a few others here. We're not we're friendly with each other, but we tend to keep to ourselves just because clustering floorboard folk, the bigs would start to question things. So we do what we can to share and to make life a little bit easier for each other. Right. Well, come right this way. And you see he ducks down into a space that very clearly has carefully been worn away, like someone took their time sanding over the space to create a smooth hole down into the space between the floorboards. And you come into a space that is filled with light. There are little blinking, like those mini miniature fairy lights, the super duper tiny ones, just like very carefully placed all over. There are some small clusters in a few places to brighten up a couple of extra spaces. You see a very large. I love this example, so I'm stealing it from my mod. Thank you, Deep Squirrel, for this one. You see a dining table made of one of those like plastic things that are discs, and it's had a cork stuffed into it to make it into a very beautiful table with all manner of little thimbles. And it's actually impressive how many thimbles have been collected here, because you'd think that the bigs would only have one, but apparently they kept losing them. Uh, and just clustered all around here. There are plush like fabrics and other elements. Very clearly, there's a big here who works with fabrics of some nature. And you see off to one side there is a man. He has his long hair kind of tied back in just a teeny tiny little elastic that's rather large in his hair. He is just whistling quietly to himself, and he has like a teeny tiny little fire going over, like with a little metal disc over top, and he's like cooking something. And you see that he's one of them is very clearly creative, as he's in you don't know the word for it, but a wheeled chair that is fashioned from these hoops and wires, and very clearly what used to be a doll's chair. And so he's just kind of sitting there and humming to himself. Everything is down low at his level to cook something up, and it smells absolutely delicious.
I think Spinnaker is kind of observing everything, possibly going up to it, hobbling over to like have a bit of a closer look at it. It's like, oh, and he decided to do this, and yes.
And he turns to hear your voice and goes, "Oh, hello there. We have company. Oh, why didn't you say anything, Stumble?" And Stumble's just like, I was about to. They we have new neighbors.
Oh,
Yeah, he sort of stumbled across us, so.
You're a funny one. Okay. And he spins his wheels around and just very skillfully, like everything here is perfectly placed, and you can tell that he has had a full hand in decorating all of this space for himself. And so he turns around and says, "Well, I think that I have enough to make more for everyone. Hang on one second. Give me just a little bit of time. And he turns and just calls over his shoulder. I'm Flory, by the way. Hi, it's so lovely to meet you. And is just like bustling around and grabbing a few more things to set up this space for a grand meal unexpectedly.
Well, maybe we should share some of our cake crumbs.
Yep.
Oh, cake? Oh, I heard that I could smell that the Bigs were making something really good. Oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Um, Here, and he pulls down what looks to be I would say like a bottle cap that's been flattened, and so it has like the little ridges, but it's large enough, and it has like the little lip that you can like gather all of the cake crumbs into it, and it makes like a nice little dish. Just set that over on the table, and I will get all of this food over in just a jiffy. So he gathers everything and brings it over, and you can tell he has practice with this. Just wheeling everything over, getting it onto the table, and just like kind of sets himself up. It's like, hi,
Hi.
I think that you've had a very long day or days.
Oh, yes.
Been many suns.
Right. Yep, that would certainly be a trip. Where did you come from?
Just the other house across the way.
Right. The one with the really loud, we could hear some of that over here. Oof,
Yeah.
I would not have been happy there either. I do not blame you at all. And you can tell he's definitely the more talkative of the two, as Stumble has kind of just settled into a thimble seat right next to him and is just like carefully eating his food.
I think Dusty would absolutely match him for the chattiness and be like, yeah, no, it was terrible. There were so many baggins, and then there wasn't even a Tuffet, and we're called the Tuffets, so there should be a Tuffet. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, you know, we're the mantles, but we aren't under a mantle anymore. No, they actually removed that about a very long time ago. I was quite shorter, but I was very young. Yeah, we had to shift places. For some reason, they decided that they wanted to go for like the sleek green tile look. You can't climb up it anymore, and well, but like it's it's not a good look. I don't know why they did that, and and he just like rambles off for a time.
I don't think Spinnaker's eating. I think Spinnaker is still looking around and perhaps even still has like a scrap of paper and like a little bit of a little end of lead that they're making notes on.
Describe something more. I've set the scene a bit. So, what else do you see in here that Spinnaker really loves?
So I think that perhaps there has been fashioned this pull-out storage that also fashions into some sort of table that's made of like matchsticks connected to each other and then slatted together with an extra one that kind of is split on the side but hinged, so it will fold in, and it's like, oh,
okay.
this is amazing. Is speaking to themselves and just writing that down and being like, oh, and this, and let's join.
And Flory kind of just like peeks over at your drawings. It says, "Oh, you like that one?
Oh yes, it's a really great one. Oh, sorry, mind my manners. I'm Spinnaker. I apologize. You are
Flory."
yes. Sorry, I get very distracted by things. I apologize.
That's all right. If you want, I can lend you a hand on figuring out how to put that together. That was a challenge, let me tell you. Um, Stumble over here had to get supplies for a very long time, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. Looks like
Mhm.
a, a good piece of work. I take it you build a lot of the things here. This is your
Yeah, I can't exactly do some of the more complicated exploring of the house and finding things. I We do what we can, and he gestures to the entrance to this to their home, which is fully a ramp for him to get up and around. And uh, I'm able to get around to some of the things, but anything high up, that's all stumble.
That's totally fair. And I'm the same sometimes. Though I
Hmm.
have managed to uh, work on this kind of pulley system that I can pull
Oh,
myself up with.
Oh,
Perhaps.
I would love to look at your notes. Maybe if it's something that we could rig around my wheeled chair, maybe we could do something with that.
Yeah, no. I can definitely think of some new applications and we can discuss it.
Absolutely, I would love that. And you have this very very long, lovely discussion about all of the mechanics and things of pulley systems and whatnot. Um, and moving over to Stumble, he's just kind of like sitting next to Pen, carefully eating his food.
So, is there any like interesting spots you recommend that's safest for us to venture to, or maybe just interesting spots that the most adventurous can get to?
Well, there's some good spots. The cellar's usually pretty safe. They don't usually go down there very often. Usually at later when the sun is down. But during daytime, it's usually all right. Um, then there's if you go up, it's a little bit difficult to get to, but there's this fabric room that has all different things. A lot of the pieces here that you see came from that, and they always have like these little scraps and pieces that are so big, and they don't notice when we take them away. But the so sorry, I'm getting all frazzled. There are two bigs who are always here and a third that comes sometimes, and they have like this very large scary animal that comes with them, but it doesn't happen too often, so that we're usually okay. They tend to be a little bit more on the quiet side here. Um, Sometimes the big that makes the things that sews, they have guests over and they all are working on things, which is useful sometimes, especially when they're dealing with like the really thick yarns and stuff. That makes it really easy. Like they'll be snipping little pieces off and they just let them fall on the floor and then we can collect them.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Because I like getting lots of thread, and Jesse here loves picking up new fabrics. So maybe we'll have to hit that up next.
Hmm. Yeah, the big who sews, we don't really have names for them, but they're bigs. Who cares? All we care about is where they go around to. But they are usually they have weird hours. Um, Sometimes they'll be there really, really late, long past dark, and then sometimes they're there only, like, for a short span of time, and then they're gone for weeks. It's always it can be hard to tell, but, like, all manner of times there, um, and he's, like, thinking, and it's, like, one of those you can see the wheels spinning, and he's, like, trying to impart all of this information.
And Pen's just sitting
Meanwhile
there taking it
Mhm.
in.
Yep. Dusty, Brandy?
So, about that clock. Well, not clock. What would we call it?
Loud
About
banging
that
thing?
bangy thing. What do we know about it already?
Flory kind of just tilts his head at you. What do we know about it? Um, the younger one, the one that brings the big scary creature, they brought it a few maybe right around the time actually that you had to leave now that I think about it. It's been a little while, not too long, but that thing is loud continuously. We're far enough away from it here that it's not constant, but every once in a while it makes that very loud clanging noise, and it's very annoying. Um, do you have a suggestion? Do you have a way to get rid of it? I would love that. I hate when bigs change things.
Oh, Sam. I mean, I don't think I can get rid of something that big and loud, but I'm sure good at making some biggie things not function the way they should.
I am more than happy to help in any way that I can. What ideas did you have?
Well, usually they have all those giggery watsits, and then the girly wogs go in these bits, and then the Bob does this. So we usually get something solid and put it in this spot, and then something sticky and put it in this spot, and then sometimes I might make things crash together, and then pieces kind of fly out and go spladoozle, and it tends to be how it works. It's a very complicated process.
Hmm. I see what you mean. I might be able to help with some of the sticky things. It's very tall. It's honestly it's taller than the bigs. But it's on the ground. So I think that if you were to during the day, you should do this when the sun is out. The bigs go away for a while. Not every day, but most of the time during the sun time. And so if you go out then, you should be able to have like start out with a nice good look at it. But then you should be able to do something about it. Maybe like I saw that there were lots of metal bits. He nudges Stumble and says, "Stumble over here managed to get like the door wedged open slightly on it, and so we were able to see that there are lots of little things and the who's a what's it's what did you call them?
Yeah, there's girly magogs, and then there's who's my watsits, and then there's
Right.
sprig sprugs that sometimes go in between those.
You can see he's trying to retain this information and remember the names. Right. So those. They are very high up. But there are like long metal like swishy things that you can climb up onto, and you should be able to maybe get up there. We think that the sound is coming from something in the very top where the tick tick like banging sound is happening, because like you can look up at it and you can see that there's this long black thing that's moving. So that's making the that
Mm.
repetitive banging noise, and then there's this loud clanging thing, and that's the part that really bothers me personally.
Same. I don't like that bit. But you said one of the biggies likes fabrics and making things?
Yeah, they do. They're up a ways. They're not on the main floor here, but it can take a little bit of finessing. But you can see, and he kind of just gestures up the ramp. If you look outside our home here, Stumbles managed to like rig up some useful like climbing things and stuff to get up to the upper floors.
Wow. Well, we know from experience that fabric's great at dampening sound, right? Maybe I could put that to use. What's everyone else think?
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic
Yes,
idea.
providing some insulation is good. I think you will definitely need those the wax in your ears for when you go and do this job because you want to be careful.
Yeah, I can't imagine being that close to something that loud.
Mm.
What if you stuck the wax into the spittly butts?
Yep, that sounds like a fantastic plan.
Mm.
Anything that can gum up those inner workings and like really get the Huzma bobs like stuck, that's where we need to go.
There should be an on.
I
There
just
should be
saw a
an.
comment in the chat that says that breaks the thingy ummy bob.
Of course it does.
Yep.
There should be like an untouch. I think if when you gum it up and it stops, maybe you can pull that out because when they then go to ungum it, it'll all come apart and it won't work. Maybe.
Yeah. And that key piece will be missing, so
Yes.
harder to fix.
Yes. Plus, I can use it.
I'm sure you can.
If we can't get enough wax, we could go and get sap from the trees.
That's such a long journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's worst case scenario, but
If we need to eventually do a run to the cellar to get crumbs and stuff, maybe there might be some like of the honey, if you have any honey.
ooh,
Yeah. Flory was saying that they have some sticky things too, so
Yeah, I've managed to get like when they are in the kitchen and they're making there's this drizzle cake that one of the bigs really likes, but they're really bad at the drizzle part, and so they usually manage to like drop some of the gooey parts of it on the ground, and they don't like to clean up their kitchen. Let me just put that out there. But they usually have some on the ground, and it's easy enough to like scoop up. I've managed to gather some of that up myself. I use it in my own cooking. It's very tasty. It's sweet.
Sounds fascinating.
Hmm.
Shall I have to try some of this for the learning?
Hmm. And he just kind of tilts his head at you. For the learning, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of backs up and goes over to a section of the kitchen where he has like this tiny like for bigs it would be like this big, this little tin that very clearly was like it has a sample tea lapsang souchong written on the side, and he uncorks, unwedges the lid from it, and it takes a little bit of effort because those tins are very tight. And he ladles out with a little misshapen miniature spoon that's massive in his hand, just the tiniest little bit of a golden sticky substance, and just gestures out to Spinnaker.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to try it, I'd store some of it. It doesn't last as long as you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Spinnaker will like carefully scoop a little bit up and pop it in their mouth. Oh, oh, what? Yes, that is fantastic. It sounds a little bit sweet for me, but
It
I
is
suppose
very sweet.
yes. I suppose if you mix it with something, it might
Mm. Yeah, like maybe with warm water or. Sorry for the sound effects. I realized that was right beside my mic.
Some ASMR for folks at home.
Okay. Yeah. But like there's a little bit of unsticking, a little bit of the tongue from the like. Though I can definitely see what you mean about it being sticky. That would be very useful.
Right, and he goes back and he's like scraping it down with his hand to get it back into this little miniature tin from the spoon, and then he's just like, well. Because how else are you gonna clean it off of your arm? He gets a little bit and just like dabs it on Stumble's nose. He just kind of Well, I don't know if you wanted to plan this right away, or if you wanted to settle in. I have actually, if you want, and he turns and goes over to a kind of like little drawer thing, like those drawers that people will have on their desk that are about this big. They have the three drawers. He actually has one of those that's like one of the walls in this space. And so he tugs one of those open and he pulls out this very large piece of ornate cloth that has like gold embroidery almost in it. This is very clearly like for real world perspective, very cheap damask fabric. Like it's fraying and it's a little bit plasticky and stuff, but it looks absolutely gorgeous in like purples and blues and golds. And he kind of just like shakes it off and says, um, "If you'd like, as a housewarming gift."
Oh, that's so lovely.
I love that.
I didn't have anything to do with it, and they're always dropping scraps, so I figure why not as a little welcome to the house.
Well, what a coinkydink. I collect scraps. You find them, I collect them.
Oh, there you are. It's absolutely perfect. You will love that sewing room. It is I haven't been in it a very long time, but I love all of the little things that they leave behind. It's very, very nice.
I can't wait.
We might have found paradise.
And just as you say that, you hear the clanging, loud, reverberating sound of the grandfather clock.
But nothing's perfect.
So you continue to have a very lovely meal, sharing the scraps of the cake crumbs that you had found, and it is very very tasty. It's like this really rich, soft, like chocolate cherry cake.
Mm.
I love the flavor. I hate the texture. But it's one of those that just kind of melts in your mouth. And Spinnaker, it's not as sweet as the honey that you had just tasted, and so it almost tastes even less sweet because of that in comparison. but you all finish it off, and Stumble and Flory are just regaling you with tales of their experiences here in the strange home that you have found yourselves in. And Flory says, "Now, keep in mind, not everyone's as handsome or nice as we are," he says, "but just be careful of the pond sides. They're a bit odd. Like, and I don't like to shade on anyone, but I don't really trust people who are willing to live that close to those giant quacking things. They're very
Mm.
scary, and and they like to attack, and just it's concerning." But maybe that's just me being worried about them, because they're very scary. Yes, exactly. And he like gestures to Dusty. um
I'm not the biggest fan of the big quacky things, but I mean they could have their applications. So I don't know.
mm,
Perhaps they've worked out some way. Like you know how I think someone was saying that you work with some of the mice. We have our own as well, Eek, and
hmm. Oh, well, we would love to meet Eek. Oh, that's such a cute name. I love that.
mhm.
Eek is a saint.
Well, we would be more than happy to meet Eek, and our mice are really lovely here. There are a couple of ones that tried to move in. They were a little bit on the meaner side, but Squeaker managed to put them in their place, and they don't bother us anymore. So they know their area, and they leave us very well alone. So that's uh, rather lovely, I must say.
Mhm. It's good to know.
Yeah. Well, and he kind of coughs and looks at his wrist, never mind that there's nothing there. Um, I think that it is about time for us to turn in for the night, but it has been so lovely to meet all of you. I appreciate everything. I'm excited to have some new neighbors.
Yes, yes. We better get back and put the things that we have found to good use. And
Mhm.
you said in the evening what in the darker times it's there's less likely for the.
It's they At nighttime, at the dark times, they don't have the most routine of schedules, but if you during daylight, especially for the loud clangy thing, that's better when it's like the bright light is at its brightest. They're
Mhm.
usually not here. Usually there's some times when they are here. I'm not There's a little bit of a pattern to it, but I haven't quite it's hard to keep track of.
Mhm.
But in any case, and if you need any help with trying to figure out some things, maybe we can jerry rig some stuff. I would be more than happy to help you with that, especially if we can get that noise to stop. And he says
Of
this
course.
right as the
Ugh,
clanging happens again. I would love for that to stop.
yes. Well,
But
for now though, I did tell Stumble about the goop, but it's like firm goop. Yes, and
mm,
and yes, we will. What is the best way from here back? Hmm, across the room. I think,
Oh.
like, I'm assuming that Spinnaker remembers which part that came out of.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, kind of thing. You might. Yeah.
Right. Well, I can show you a little bit of the way there. I do like to get out of here sometimes.
Mhm.
And he spins up the ramp to go up to the between the walls space, and just kind of looks around, making sure that you all follow.
Mhm.
And he shifts over and kind of leans, and he says, so if you go, instead of going up that way, if you go around here, and then there's this long narrow wall, and then you're able to get back down there again. It's very close to the cellar. That's the route that people usually take. And then just based off of what you told me, I think that's going to be the best route to go.
Mhm.
Right. Well, it was so nice to meet all of you. And he immediately, like, he shifts a little bit to kind of just lift himself up slightly to just hug anyone who would accept a hug, and then settles back down into his wheeled chair. I'm just very amused by. Of course, you wouldn't know the word wheelchairs. Wheeled chair. Sorry. But yes, so I will see you all in the future.
Yes, yes. We'll coordinate. Well, it probably won't be me coordinating about the that situation, but we'll coordinate about the rigging, and you can tell me more about those plans. But yes, for now, it has been quite the day or days. So
Quite right. I'm sure that you had a very, very long journey to get over here.
mhm.
Well, good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you for all your help and information and
Thank you for
stuff.
the meal.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome. I can't do it all of the time, but hey, if you provide things, I'd more than happy to. Okay. So you head on out, heading back to your newfound home. You occasionally hear that loud clanging up above, but you find yourselves back in the home that you have started to make for yourselves, and let's just do a little bit of settling down in for the night. So who would like to go first? What is a thing that someone wants to do before we close this out?
I would love to take some of that cheap damask that we
Mm-hmm.
were just given and cut a neat little square to go in my wonderful patchwork, and I'll probably sit really happily sewing.
Okay. And Eek kind of like scurries up and settles down next to you and kind of like curls up next to you, and tilts his head into your lap.
I definitely kept a cake crumb for Eek.
He happily munches at it. Brandy?
I'm probably going to, after seeing the state of the house, of the base, tidy up.
Okay.
Just make, our piles of stuff that we haven't put away yet or whatever, neater piles. And then just go to bed in my pile of dirt.
Yep. You neaten everything except for where you sleep.
Yep, that's it.
I love it. Pen, how about you?
Yeah. Pen will take a moment because they were exploring and hyped about the space, so they weren't present enough to really select a spot. So it'll take a moment to pick out a little area, then it'll sit down, go over what's in their bag, counting out everything they've used, what's still present, what they gained,
Mm-hmm.
and then tidy up the bag in a way that easy reachable, very quick in and out, put it aside, and then with some of the paper and fabric we gathered, sort of origami a little like sleeping bag.
I love that. And I actually am going to say, oop, sorry, I hit my mic. I would like for you to roll a perceptive check for me.
All right. Ah. All right. So that is 11 total.
Okay, 11 total. So you're pulling apart one of these crumpled pieces of paper, and it's just for visual, it's about this size. And so it's actually really decently sized for making into a nice little place to sleep. And as you open it up with that 11, you're actually able to decipher some of the handwriting that Brandy wasn't able to read. And you see what looks to be poetry of some kind. Big people poetry, but poetry. And you can see all of the like slash marks going through it in the dark blue ink, and scribbles out that say, "Oh, this sounds so stupid," and "Oh, she won't like that," and just all of these little different markings. Very clearly, one of the bigs is either a poet or trying to be a poet. But you note all of this, and then origami it into a nice cozy bed for yourself. And because of all of the crumpling, it makes it a lot softer and nicer. So that's definitely nice. And then Spinnaker.
I think Spinnaker has got a lot of nervous energy. They come in and have to sit down just to
Mm-hmm.
kind of like rest their legs and catch their breath again, but they're still like writing away in their notebook and drawing out plans and kind of observing the space that they have and trying to do a bit more planning. And they basically fall asleep sitting up like that. Notebook
Mm-hmm.
on lap.
Yeah, and you have all manner of notes here, and you're all falling asleep, like nodding off to varying degrees, and then that loud clanging sound. It's muffled here, but you can hear it. You know that you're going to have to deal with that if you want to settle here for good. And I think that that is a good place to stop for today.
Mm.
Yay. So, before we do anything else, I just want to remind folks in chat that if you want to enter the giveaway for a digital copy of Under the Floorboards, the command for that is !floorboards with an S on the end. We will be pulling the drawing for that very shortly. But really quick, one thing that I forgot to remind my players, but I'll see if y'all remember. One of the things that you do for extended play is that when you successfully use one of your Scarper stats, there's a chance that you learn from it. So anytime you return and reflect on your journey so far, you can check to see what you've learned. They suggest starting it at the beginning of a new session, but I think it would be better to do it when it's fresh on your minds. So anything that you know that you were successful at, roll 2d6. And if you roll over your current ability score in that stat, you can increase it permanently by 1.
What did I
And
that-
while it says you can do this for up to 3 abilities, I'm going to say let's just do it for 1 this first time.
I think the one that I ended up using the most was like perceptiveness.
Mhm.
Perhaps.
Okay.
And I rolled pretty well. Just gonna try and find my.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to roll.
You need to roll 2d6, and if you roll above your current number, so it has to be one above or more, then you get to permanently increase it by 1.
Yeah. I rolled a 10, so -3. I think.
Incredible.
So it's now 4.
It is now 4.
Yay.
Pen, what do you think?
I had a number of successes because I was good on perceptive and sturdy and agile. My perceptive and agile is pretty high at this point, so I might try and increase my strength, my sturdy.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a 9 total, and my sturdy is 3, so I go up.
Incredible. Very well done. Dusty, how about you?
So I had 2 good successes. One was reasoning out up at the top of the table, and the other was the cunning for the piece of paper. I think that one was probably the strongest, so I'm going to go to that.
Okay.
Ooh, and yes, I did it.
Yay! Successes, Brandy. How about you?
I have no memory whatsoever of what I know I had a couple good sturdy rolls, but my sturdy's already at top, so.
Okay. Well, so it's not technically at top. So when you do character creation, it goes to max 6, but when you're increasing your score, you can go up to max 12.
Ooh, well, I'm going for that.
Yeah, go for it.
Gain all the muscles from climbing. And I rolled an 8, and my sturdy is 6.
So it becomes a 7. Very well done.
Thanks.
Okay. I agree with Arnica. I have no memory of this place. Okay. So I think that it's right around the time to do our drawing for our PDF copy of the game. I don't know how giveaways work on here, so please, our lovely producer, if you can do the thing. I see a drum roll, please. I don't know if it's going into the chat or if it's going. Just let me know. Vivacia, I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. Vivacia, you have been drawn for the giveaway. Yay! Congratulations! Yay, Viv! Congratulations on winning your copy of the PDF. If you're in the chat, awesome. I'm assuming that our lovely producer will know what to do for this. I personally do not. I realize I should have asked that, but congratulations. We will get you that copy of the PDF. We will have more copies of the PDF for the rest of our flight. And then the finale episode, episode 6, we are going to be giving away a physical copy of the game. So be sure to stick around for that. Let's go ahead and do our little outros, and then I'll talk about things because I need to look at the outro issue stuff. So let's start with Tina.
Hey folks, I have been Tina playing Dusty, and it's been magical. I am usually found on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it these days, and also Instagram. You can check out my link tree to get some links, and I also do like a lot of content about hamsters because they run a hamster charity. So if you want to see some very cute miniature cottage core type hamster setups, you know who to check out.
Very cool. And then Natalie.
Hi everybody, I'm Natalie and I was playing Pen. Find me on lots of places on the interwebs with Ghost Candle or Ghostly Candle on places like Twitch and YouTube, as I am a variety streamer. So when you're not seeing me being all over the place playing wonderful games with wonderful folks, you can see me doing my own stuff, which also includes solo tabletop games because I love that kind of thing. So yeah, make sure you follow. I'm looking up Ghost Candle. I dominate the Google searches. We're good.
And then Caden.
Oh, hi, I'm Caden. I was playing Brandy, my now super muscled girl. I can be found on the Twitter X at Magdalene Bloom. Just figure it out. I don't know how to spell either. So, and the only other game thing I have going is the second and final episode on Weave the Tale tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, I think. And we're doing Cthulhu Dreamt.
Ooh.
And see if we survive because we left in quite the cliffhanger last week.
I love it. Okay. And then Lola.
Hi, I'm Lola, and I can be found all over the interwebs as Erdvolt Yarns. I put my Twitter handle in the chat, but you can find me on the Blue Sky and Instagram and everything else as Third Volt Yarns. And also, oh yeah, the one place that I'm not Third Volt Yarns is itch.io, where I write and publish some games, some solo journaling ones as well as some adventures and stuff. And I recently published a Powered by Sentinel game, which is inspired by To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. So just a little game that you get to you get to be a traveler to extra solar planets and research and gain knowledge for an Earth that may never see it. I don't know. Do you get to go back home? Who can say? You have to play to find out. But it's called The University Tour, The Traveler. And yeah, that's
very cool. And then I guess I should say about me. So hi, I'm Anya. I have been your guiding voice / storyteller. I can be found everywhere at Lalion Cosplay. I am on Twitch making costumes. I'm currently working on Imogen Temmelt's new outfit from Critical Role. I made the fabric because I could not find it anywhere, and I got it custom printed. Anyway, so I do that. I play my Pokemon Red legitimately, like on my old Game Boy Pocket, all that jazz. Lalion Cosplay everywhere. If you want to play games with me, I am a pro GM on Start Playing Games, and I am Lalion there. I run all kinds of games. Let's see, things for Girls Run These Worlds. We're the only thing on Mondays, but on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, it looks like next week, there is the Monster Hearts 2 class of 2027. And also next week at 8 p.m. Eastern is Old Gods of Appalachia, which I really want to play at some point because I'm from West Virginia, but I don't get to play it. I was just trying to look at things, and there's Witchers every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and a bunch of other things. Also, if you want to run games on Girls Run These Worlds, our creator app is always open. If you have a story you'd like to tell, we want to help you get it off the ground, and you can go to the website at girlsruntheseworlds.com. I believe that is everything. Do we have a raid? We are going to be raiding Table Story, so absolutely stick around for that. I have no idea what they're doing, but I'm sure that it's something awesome. But thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week trying to defeat the clicky clacky thing. So we will see you then, I guess. Bye-bye.